Hi, Enthusiastic Steve here. Well, I've had a few requests this week to actually show you around the shack, if you can call it that. The little corner of the room with my radio gear in it. My man cave, my radio shack, call it what you like. So the following video is just a quick tour around some of the equipment I've got here, and also do some little audio checks, comparing audio on some of the HF radios. Enjoy. This is Enthusiastic Steve, otherwise known as Mike Sits Whiskey Victor Victor.
Golf 7 Whiskey Delta Kilo and Golf 0 Lima Golf Foxtrot. Yeah, fine business there, Ed. Very good. I was a look at the time to get out to the lake. Good afternoon to you there.
That was a bit of quick audio from the Enrico TM7. Connected up to Echolink. No big antennas, just via the internet. Gives you global coverage. But I'll keep going. Questions asked. What have I got in the shack? Well, things have been building over the last 3 or 4 years now, and I've been trying to do it as best as I can on a budget. You know, I don't have the money to go out and buy the all modern, all dancing, super duper radio. So I've been buying little bits and pieces over the years, and building up a bit of a collection now, and this is what's in my shack. When I became an M6 Foundation license holder, I wanted to get myself a decent radio, but I was looking around what was out there at the time. There was the Yaesu 450s, some of the Icoms, more budget range ones, but when I say budget, they were still around about the £500+ mark. So I started looking at second-hand equipment. I don't know, it's a bit of a gamble when you buy second-hand, but I came across this wonderful Yaesu FT980, circa mid-early 80s, but at the time it was nearly their star. Well, it was their star radio, basically about 30-40 years ago. It was one of the first radios to have a CAT control system on it, so you can connect it up to a computer. But I bought this radio, and in its more recent life, it's been mainly sat in a cupboard. It was down in Dorset. It was a Sea Cadets, and the Sea Cadets basically no longer needed to use this radio. They had upgraded, so it became available. So it's only really been used by, well, when supervised. It's been used at times, but a lot of its life it's been spent sat in a cupboard somewhere. So I got the radio, brought it home, plugged it in, it all lit up, and it sounded fairly good. There were one or two little quirks with it, and then the problem became, where do I get it serviced? Well beyond what my capabilities. So I started phoning around, and unfortunately the last few years a lot of the guys who regularly do or used to regularly service the older radio equipment are no longer there. They've retired, or they've just given up. But I did find James. You may have heard of him on the internet. James in the shack down in the West Country. Absolutely fantastic guy. Highly recommended. I sent him, I delivered the radio. I drove down there one day, dropped it off to him, had a chat, and he spent a little bit of time on it. And it came back, and in his words, it's now a better radio than it ever was when it was brand new. He's upgraded a lot of the components, replaced them, and absolutely works a treat. A little bit sluggish on lower sideband. You need from when you turn it on, just give it about 5 or 10 minutes to warm up and settle, and it's absolutely spot on. And the audio quality is very good. It is heavy. It weighs 40-50 pound. It must do. It's a big old solid radio, but good audio and everything works on it. It's fantastic. Continuing on the lines of the HF, again the FT980 covers right down from 0 up to 30 megahertz, AM, FM, sideband, CW, and this is the Lynco DX8 range radios. Big display, beautiful display on it, and that's one of the benefits of it. It's lovely, crisp and clear, and it's got a detachable front end. It's a lot smaller, as you can see, to the Yaesu beneath it, a lot lighter. The wheel itself, the spinny wheel on the front, the tuning knob, has got a good tactile feel to it, and it's a nice little radio. Speaker's a little bit harsh. Internal speaker is a bit harsh, but again, overcome that by connecting up to an external speaker or using the headphones. But it's the display that attracted me to these radios. Also, it's a detachable head. So this is one of the radios I use mobile, and I can actually set the main body of the radio in a case, put that in the boot, and then run wires to the front of the car, and then the detachable head just clips into a little bracket I made that goes into the CD unit of my radio in the car, and there you go, play HF out mobile. Recently added to the arsenal of radios though was the Exuge G90. Now this is a little SDR radio, and I can't really get over how size of this radio is. I'll put my hand by it. My hand is larger than the radio. It is a tiny compact little bit of kit. Beautiful clear screen, albeit only about 1 inch and a little bit bigger size, but crisp, lovely crisp display with a waterfall function, filters, AGC, etc, etc. Only had this radio a couple of weeks, but well impressed with it. It does everything I need. It's only low power, so for those big power buffs out there who can run more power, it only goes up to 20 watts. So this thing will run all day at 10 watts and doesn't even get warm. So fantastic little bit of radio. It's SDR inside, therefore the audio quality is very good indeed. From a 2m77 perspective, I've got a Yaesu FT8900 dual band, and does work a treat. A lovely audio on it, good quality, receive NTX. Option to run it on 10 watts as well, so great for all foundation users, and of course it can go up to higher power for those with full licenses. So it's expandable, you know, as I progress through the license system, you can keep this radio and use it for years to come. It's got a good little scan facility on it, and the memories, and you can search the airband and marine band, etc. So you can use it for other things as well as the amateur radio bands. It does 28, 50 megs, 145s, 433s as well. So 4 channel options there on FM. For the 4 meter band, I use the Ascom 550, which is a RATS converted PMR radio, and works lovely on FM, and simple as that. Again, it has got a detachable head, but unfortunately as yet I've been unable to source the brackets and components to be able to do that. But this one does go mobile with me, but at the moment with the because we're going through the lockdown, it's indoors and it absolutely works a treat, connected to a Stereo 468 vertical 5/8 wave antenna, probably up to about 40-50 mile range, so very good indeed. For the 10 meter band and 11 meter band and 12 meter band, we've got the CRTS Superstar 9900. Again, a lovely little radio, compact in size. The volume's turned down at the moment, but it's on the local net channel at the moment, which is active. Got that connected to a vertical antenna, a Game Master. Works a treat. Got up to 2,000 miles on 10 watts on this, on the 10 meter band. Lovely little radio, good audio, compact, does the job. And no Radio Shack would be without its scanner. This is again, it's probably a 1990s design, 2000, probably a 1990s Radio Shack. It's the got Hyperscan capable on it. Lovely bit of radio. Again, it's only AM FM. Not, you know, it's got gaps, doesn't search completely, but it goes through fair old speed, as you can see on there. It picks up aircraft, military aircraft, civil, the marine band, taxi, vets, trains. It's an analog one, but there's still a lot of activity out there on analog, so worth having it in the shack, and just gives you something else to have a nice little listen to. Back to the Enrico TM7. Now this little radio here, a network radio, it does multiple things. Yeah, it's not a true radio as such. It's basically an Android telephone in a case, which you can go mobile, or you can take it. We could take it portable if you've got some batteries. At the moment it's in the shack. It does need internet connection, but that's done by Wi-Fi. You can connect it to Echolink. You can connect it to the network radio system on Zello. You can search the internet, you can watch YouTube videos on there. You can do so much. You can listen to music, you can listen to your local radio station. Great sound and audio from that little speaker. It does punch out some loud sounds. Ideal in the car. It cuts across all the background noise, and being like network radio, you stay connected. You don't have to rely on repeaters and keep changing frequency or lose connection because you don't have a repeater for that coverage. This radio I've driven 200 miles and had a conversation all the way down that along that route. So it's a nice little bit of radio. Again, not that huge. Nice and compact, and in the background there is an RT4 handheld network radio, which again you can link to this. Again, you can a lot of the things like Zello you can connect to on your telephone, Echo Link as well. So TeamSpeak is the other communication system that's on there, but you can link into many amateur radio repeaters, especially on Echo Link. So yeah, wherever you are in the country or in the world, you can come through the Isle of Wight repeater. So absolutely love this little radio, and had this from the start, and it's a keeper. From an antenna perspective, antenna tuner perspective, I'll run a Comet manual tuner. I do like manual tuners because you can see what's going on. You've got a nice the old crossover needles there, and adjustments and on the bands, and yeah, I like it because you can see what's going on. You've got the full control of it. Whereas the more modern tuner, the automatic one, antenna tuner, it does the job. You can't fault it. This one's got a very large range of tuning capability, so you can almost tune anything with this tuner. It does work automatic if you've got the right radio set up. Now, this one is actually sold to work with the Lynco, but when you plug it into the Lynco with the appropriate cables, it doesn't always necessarily work as you expect. You have to tune it in something they call the sticky mode, which basically means every time when you turn it on, you have to manually tune it yourself, or get the radio to accept whatever frequency comes in, and it automatically tunes for the first time, and store that in the memory. Once you've got those in the memory, it will automatically tune to the radio whatever band you're on. So I'd say it's semi-automatic. Should be fully automatic, but doesn't work with the Lynco DX8. Does work with other Lynco radios, but not this one. But no, great little tuner, and you really need it to protect your radio. I'm running this tuner onto a delta loop at the moment, which doesn't need any tuning on the 4 bands it's resonant on. But this thing allows me to do a 40-meter delta loop and use it on 80 meters and even 160. I'm not going to say it's efficient, but it will tune it. So it's got a very wide range tuning capability. And finally, we've got the this is a little bit of an investment. This was a BHI DSP noise cancelling speaker. It was recommended to me by some local amateurs who swear by them. And I must admit, it does do a good job. I'm not going to dispute it. You can pick up a little bit of interference with it sometimes from your own shack. That's through the power leads and speaker leads, but use some ferrite beads. And the secret is to actually connect, if you've got one of these or thinking about getting one, when you connect it up to a power supply, try and connect it up to a separate power supply which is not supplying power to any of the radios. That way you get a lovely clean power source into it, and it reduces the amount of interference on it. But it does do the job and does produce a very good balanced audio. So that was basically a very quick tour around the equipment in the shack at the moment. It is about to be completely revamped. I'm moving a larger desk in here soon, so it's not all piled up, and I will be thinning out some of the equipment. Probably reluctantly, the FT480, my old Yaesu, will be going, so it's going to come up for sale very shortly. So if anybody's interested, give me a shout and I'll run through all the good points and a couple little minor points with it. But it is a 40-year-old radio, but it does work a treat. I've been using it for 3 years now. It's been flawless, and you can actually see it on YouTube if you go and James in the Shack. There is a YouTube video, if you type in FT980, you will come up with a couple of videos on there after he's done the repair on it, and you can see it all working. But yeah, we're probably looking to sell that one in the near future. There's a few other bits on the table there, if you can see as well. There's a nice little digital display SWR meter in the background, a Uniden little handheld scanner at the back there, and a couple of other little speakers tucked away. But yeah, other than that, that's the shack. Like I say, it's nothing spectacular, but it does me. It's all been built up from stuff bought from radio rallies and friends and things like that, and seen on the internet. So you know, it would be nice to have a one box all shack, shack in the box radio, but this does me, and it gives me a lot of flexibility, because a lot of these radios I can use as in mobile mode as well, when I go up on the hilltops. So that was it. This has been Enthusiastic Steve, or Mike Sits a Whiskey Victor Victor, and this is his basically temporary shack. Thank you for watching. Well, thank you for watching the quick tour of the Enthusiastic Steve's current radio shack and his collection of different radios and equipment. As promised, I'm just going to do a separate little video, be posted up very shortly after this one, just comparing the audio quality of the Exuge G90 SDR radio, the Yaesu FT980, not the 480 as I mistakenly called it midway through this video, and the Lynco DX8, both on the internal speakers, and for the Lynco connected to a BHI digital noise cancelling portable speaker or external speaker. So that's to follow. So please have a click on that, have a watch, enjoy, and hopefully I've given you a few good hints or tips. Thank you very much. This has been Enthusiastic Steve. 73s, and stay safe.